Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kensthetic with the Kensthetics, and I'm here with you guys today with a new video. So in today's video, we'll be doing another influencer chat. It's been a minute since I did one of these videos, but I really wanted to come back and speak to you guys about pitching to brands based on my experience as a brand influencer and as a digital creator. So I wanted to give you guys some tips, tell you guys like things that I've experienced when it comes to pitching brands, so that if you are an influencer, if you're a new influencer, if you just need help learning how to pitch your brands, then this video should be helpful for you guys. So really excited to share information in this video. You guys have been asking a few questions about pitching in my comments on Content Corner's Instagram Live, so I just figured it's a great way for me to just share my experience to help you guys out. So before we get started, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and hit that red subscribe button down below and join the family, because we're on the road to 7K subscribers, and I want all of you guys to follow the journey. I want all of y'all to be with me, so make sure you guys subscribe. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy, and drop a comment down below with any thoughts, comments, questions, opinions, anything that's on your mind after you watch this video. Leave it down below and I'll be sure to respond. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So when it comes to pitching to brands, something that I always remember and something that I always keep on the front of my mind is that closed mouths do not get fed. About 70% of the brand partnerships, brand sponsorships, brand collaborations that I have done is because I reach out to the brand. Like, when you keep your mouth closed, nobody knows what you want, nobody knows what you expect, nobody knows who you are. So you really have to remember that closed mouths do not get fed. This is a common theme, a common statement, a common motto, common mantra that I'm going to keep repeating throughout this video. So I just wanted to start off by explaining to you guys why I think that is so important when it comes to pitching to brands. Okay, so the first thing is, what is pitching? Pitching is basically selling yourself. So I'm not sure if you guys remember, like in like workforce prep classes, or when you were in college and you went to like your how do we call it? We called it CDC, like Career Development Center in college, and you were learning like about how to navigate with transitioning from college to your career. You always heard the elevator pitch. Like, you have to sell yourself in 60 seconds. Let's pretend you're in an elevator with the CEO of a company you want to work for, and you have to tell them about yourself in 60 seconds. What do you say? You want to keep it straight to the point, because people don't like listening too much. People's attention spans aren't that long. You want to make sure you get all of the important information across, and you just want to make sure you're confident with what you're saying, because you're basically selling yourself, telling someone about yourself in a manner that represents you well. So who should you pitch to, right? So as a brand influencer, as a content creator, whether you're a brand owner and you want to reach out to like another brand for mentorship, or you want to, as an influencer, reach out to brands for like paid collaborations, who do you pitch to? I would recommend pitching to brands that you genuinely use and brands that you genuinely enjoy their products. So for me, when I started pitching to brands, I wrote down a list of brands that I use in my everyday life. Like Jergens, I used to use on my skin all the time. So that was one of the first brands that I pitched to. Camille Rose Naturals, you guys know that I love Camille Rose. If you guys are new to my channel, then just know that I love Camille Rose. I probably have like 10 videos using their products on my channel by now, but I love Camille Rose Naturals, and that was one of the first brands that I used and actually worked for me when I started taking care of my natural hair. So it just made sense that I pitched to them. You want to pitch to brands that you organically use, and not brands that you've never experienced before, you've never used, because if you think about it, okay, you pitch, they want to work with you. What's next? What's next is that they probably send you some products. They tell you like, hey, create a YouTube video, or create an Instagram story, or create an Instagram post using our products. And if it's something that you don't already use, if it's not something you organically use, that production will just be odd, because one, is probably going to be your first time ever trying that product, and then two, if it doesn't work, you're in a situation now where you have to share your opinion with your audience, and it's either you're going to lie and tell them that it's good just because you're getting paid, or you're going to use it, you're going to tell your truth, and then it's going to be like, okay, you reach out to me, so you reach out to me, you didn't know what my product offering was, and now you're online like bashing me. So either way, you just want to make sure that whatever brands you're pitching to, you use on a regular basis, and that interaction will be organic with the product. So the next thing is how you should pitch. So you guys, pitching is hard at first and it may be uncomfortable at first, but as you get more experience and as you do it more often, trust me, it gets easier. Like, trust me. So the first thing I want to say is that you need to include what you want in your name in the subject line of your email. So for instance, if I, Kendra Kensthetic, am reaching out to a brand for a paid collaboration, I'll put paid brand collaboration, and then I'll put hyphen, and then I'll put Kensthetic, which is my brand name. So that way, whoever's reading my email, the social media coordinator, the email coordinator, the influencer relations person, they know exactly what this email will entail and who it's about. So you want to make sure that your subject line isn't vague, like, hey, want to work, or paid gig, or something like that, where it's like, okay, when they're looking through their emails and they're trying to find you again, or they're trying to like find people for a campaign, if you have just your name like Kensthetic in the subject line, they're gonna be like, okay, but what does Kensthetic want? You know what I'm saying? So you want to make sure your subject line says who you are and what you want. The second thing is you want to introduce yourself. I have heard from people who work with brands that so many people pitch to brands and they don't introduce themselves. They're just like, hey, I like your product, send me stuff, or hey, I like your product, pay me. And it's just like, okay, but who are you? What do you have to offer? What can you tell me about yourself? Let me get a little taste of what your personality is like. So you want to make sure you introduce yourself. So whenever I introduce myself, I say, hey, by way of introduction, my name is blah blah blah, and this is why I'm reaching out to you. So I'll say, like, you know, either I tried your products before, either, you know, I'm following up from a DM conversation via Instagram, or whatever the case is, or I'm following up with you based on an in-person interaction. I'll just introduce myself in a way that they're just like, okay, this is her, this is what she does, what else can I read about her in this email? So you always want to make sure you introduce yourself and you say what you are. So I'll say like, hey, my name is Kensthetic and I am a digital creator. Or you can say like, hey, my name is Samuel and I'm a photographer. Whatever your title is, you want to make sure you include that so that they can understand who you are and why you're reaching out to them. The next thing is that you want to include something personal that could cause a brand to remember you. So one thing that I've learned through recruiting, professionally, is that I love when people can give me something that stands out, whether it's something they like, whether it's something they do, anything that's unique that stands out and can tell me like, hey, I remember Samuel the photographer. I like that. So with me being on the other side of recruiting, when I was working for my previous company, now that I'm basically trying to get recruited with companies that I want to partner with, I always want to make sure that I include something that's personable that will cause them to remember me. So some examples is, hey, I tried this product and this is how it worked for me. Or hey, I have been using your product for X years and my favorite thing about your brand or your product offering is Y. Or hey, I love that your brand does X, Y, and Z in their practices and what they believe in. Just so that one, it shows that you did your research, you know what products they offer, you know what the brand stands for, you know what the brand does, and that shows that basically like you did your homework, but at the same time you are familiar with the brand and it's not like you're a random Joe pulling up like, hey, I want to work with you. My next tip is to explicitly state what you hope to get from your communication. So you said who you are, you said kind of what you wanted briefly in the subject line, but what exactly are you looking for? Are you looking for a brand collaboration? Are you looking for a gifted product? Are you looking to try a product for the first time? Are you looking to see if they have any open campaigns? Are you looking for like a model opportunity? Like, what are you looking for? You want to explicitly state that in the email. So I would say like, hey, I'm emailing you because X, Y, and Z. Like, I'm waiting for a modeling gig if any are available. I'm looking for a work opportunity. I'm looking for an opportunity to work with you at this event. I'll say exactly what I want. So as they're reading it, there's no gray area on, okay, Kendra's emailing me, Kendra's a digital creator, Kendra tried this product from us, but now like, what do you want? Like, you know, it's that like if you're in an in-person conversation and it's like, okay, what are you getting at? This is a point where you want to address that. The next tip is to always remember to thank people for their time. In general, whenever I speak to people in person, email someone, I'm on the phone with someone, I always thank them for their time because I understand the value of time. Time is something that is very valuable that we can never get back. So the fact that somebody's actually taking the time out to open your email, to read your email, and to see what you want from them, basically, you want to make sure you always thank them for the time. So I'll always say like, thank you for taking the time out to read this email, or thank you for taking the time out to respond to me, or whatever it is, just to show that you are grateful for the time that they are contributing to helping you out with whatever your need in that email is. The last tip is to make sure that you have links for your social media in your email, or in your email signature. You guys, like, it's super easy when I can just scroll to the bottom of an email, see the person's signature, and have links to Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, whatever it is, whether it's a brand or individual that's emailing me. So I want to reciprocate that energy. I want to say, okay, how can I push you to my social media in an aesthetically pleasing way that's super easy for you to navigate? So at the bottom of my email signature, I'll go ahead and put it here so you guys can see. I have buttons for my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook, my Pinterest, and my YouTube channel. So whoever's reading my emails, whether it's a brand, whether it's a colleague, whoever it is, and they want to easily access my social media platforms, all of those links are there for them. So I'll go ahead and put a video down below that I use in the description box. That video basically showed me how to link like links in a picture, if that makes sense. So that video can help you out if you are trying to curate your signature to include your links in your signature. And I would also recommend to attach your media kit to an email when you are pitching to brands. So I have a media kit. So my media kit I've been working on for a while. It's a work in progress. It's not ever a finished product because you're always adding things, you're always updating things. So I created my media kit within Canva. Canva has a lot of templates for media kits. So if you're new to making a media kit, I would highly recommend to use the templates in Canva. You can also ask your other friends who are influencers, who are content creators, who are brand owners, to see their media kit, to see like what their layout looks like, what information they have in it. But just to give you guys a brief summary, some things that I have in my media kit are previous brands that I work with, so that when I am pitching to a brand, they can say like, oh, this person worked with this brand, which is similar to ours. So they probably have the capability to give us what we expect from a collaboration. I include my information. So I'll put my, street address, my phone number, whatever the case is, my email address, because I wanted to stand as an independent document. I wanted to represent itself. I don't want it to be in addition to the email. I want it to be that this person can open the file for my media kit and they can see everything about me. I have my engagement rates for Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I have my amount of views, my amount of subscribers, followers. All of that is in my media kit so that somebody can open it and they can basically see just a brief summary of who I am, what I'm working with, and what I got to offer. So those are some tips that I have about pitching. When it comes to actually pitching to brands, you're probably like, okay, but how do I get like these brands' email contacts, or who do I know how to contact from the brand? So some tips that I have used when it comes to pitching to brands is one, Instagram DM. If I'm interested in a brand, I will DM them and I will say, hey, like, who's the best person for me to reach out to about whatever it is that you're looking for? That's one. Two, LinkedIn. So I use LinkedIn all the time for my professional job, but I use it personally too. You can find almost everybody on LinkedIn. So I'll put in like the brand, and then I'll put in like influencer relations or social media relations, so that I can find the individual contact who is responsible and who I should be reaching out to. And if their email is not available on LinkedIn, I'll just copy and paste their name and title in Google and see if anything pops up from there. You guys, I really am convinced that I used to work in the FBI in a previous lifetime, because the way that I can find people, like my people finding skills, girl, and they be serving a purpose. Okay, so that's another thing that I do. And also, whenever someone reaches out to you, like from a brand, you want to make sure that you always confirm that that person, one, works for the brand, and two, is who they say they are, because a lot of people pretend to be like, social media reps of brands or whatever to get people's personal information. Weird creep shit. Okay, so make sure whenever somebody emails you, reaches out to you, you always confirm that they really work for the brand and you're giving your information to a real person. Okay, you always want to make sure the email address makes sense too. So if they say like they're contacting you from Shea Moisture, for instance, the email address is going to say like @sheamoisture.com, and you should be like, okay, cool, that makes sense. So those are some tips that I have for pitching based on my experience. I really hope that you guys find this information helpful. If you guys have any questions, any questions after watching this video that I did not address, please leave them down below and I will be sure to answer them either in the comments, or I'll probably do like a part 2 to this video depending on how many questions you guys have after watching this whole video. But pitching to brands is very important. You want to make sure that, listen, closed mouths do not get fed. So if you know you want to work with a brand, if you have a dream brand you want to work with, pitch to them, let them know who you are. Even though it may not lead to a relationship or a partnership or a collaboration right away, they know who you are. You're on their target market, and whenever they need people, they know that they have you on their deck. Because something else, a class that I went to, which was with like people who work with brands to recruit influencers and to find influencers, people who do influencer relations for brands usually have a hard time finding influencers. surprisingly, especially black influencers. So if you're watching this and you're a black influencer, then listen, we have an advantage, okay? And we need to use that advantage, and we need to know what we have to do in order to get ourselves out there. So make sure that you are pitching to brands, and you are representing yourself in a manner that you want people to receive and reciprocate your energy as. So that's all I have for today's video. I really hope that you guys find this information helpful. If you guys have any pitching tips or ideas that you've been doing while you're working with brands, please leave them down below so that people can read the comments and, you know, catch on to game and learn a little something else. Then leave it down below. But that's all I have for today's video. Before you head out, make sure you guys subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed, drop a comment down below, and until my next video, I'll see you guys later.